Hello everyone and welcome to this new tutorial of Flamingo TV. Today we are going to talk about the native UI picker. Woo! So that's cool. Have a look at this. This is my Spark AR t-shirt. Yeah. Okay, so now stop the fun. Let's start the serious things. So we also are going to use the persistence module. We have been talking about the persistence module in the past tutorials. There is a link to the video here that will be in the description. Also, in each description of each videos, there is a source code of the tutorial. So if you can download the source code of the persistence module and use the persistence module script, like I will do in this in a short period of time. So let's start. So native UI picker. Let's have a look at the documentation here. Let's copy and paste it here. Cool. So let's make it a little bit smaller. So native UI module. We are not going to use set text or get text or anything. We are going to use the picker. Picker class is at the bottom of the page. You click, and then you can see an example of how to use native UI. So what is the important things to know about native UI picker? Picker is here. You use it from native UI. You need to configure the picker here, and you can set the picker to visible. Okay, that's the only important things to know. Also, selected index is not mandatory when you configure the picker. If you don't use selected index here, it will be set to 0, and items must be list of objects containing a key called image_texture that is storing a texture, pointing to a texture. Okay, so let's dive deep into this tutorial. First, we integrate the previous code. Like I said, I want to use a persistence module, and I will use the code of the last tutorial. So let me grab it. It's here, my persistence module. So you will have it on the document that you can download from the last tutorial description. So here it is, the code of the persistence module. I'm not gonna explain it, I'm explaining it in the other video. And then we're gonna add the texture for our picker. Okay, I have taken these two nice color to make the picker button. Something important to notice here is these two textures should not be compressed. Okay, so no compression should be checked here. And also in the project edit properties, the capabilities, if we use persistent here, okay, we need to whitelist the key that we are going to use. Okay, the key is data, and then also if I am using the native UI control, I need to check which one I'm gonna use, and actually I'm gonna use picker. Okay, right, done. So let's start. Everything I will do it by scripting today. Yeah, a little bit of patching, but it's really little. So let's make it here. That way everyone can see. So remove what I don't need here. Okay, so diagnostic, always remove this, just keep it short. So let's require the picker. Let's start. So picker here, I'm requiring this from native UI. Native UI, no, UI is all capital letters here. So let's display the first picker. So picker, let's see if I'm doing everything works already, and then we can also read the documentation doing this way here. Okay, so I'm displaying picker. Picker has properties. He has selected index property and visible property. Something important to notice is that visible property can only be set. You can't get visible property. So you set it. If you want the picker to be visible, you set it to true, and if you want to hide the picker, you set visible to false. Okay. Selected index, you can get it and set it. It's a scalar signal, meaning that it's a value, a number like 0 to 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. And there is a method. Only method we are going to use is configure. Okay, we can copy this to see how to use configure, and maybe copy all of this and paste it into the code. So we have this visible here. Okay, so what I need to use configure, so I want to keep it, so I will know how to use it. And then I need to know item. Items are array composed of image, texture, so objects. So I need to create an array of this with my texture to put it inside configure. Configure JSON configuration, okay. Takes picker with a given JSON configuration. The configuration consists of an optional initial selected index. 0 will be used if not specified. So like I said, we doesn't need to specify selected index if we don't want to specify it. For items, you must specify a name of an uncompressed texture. So like I said, texture must be uncompressed, okay. So now that we have everything that we need to start, let's start. So picker.configure, okay, selected index, blah blah blah. So configuration I can remove here, more readable, okay, and here return void, so I can remove it here, this and this, so it's more readable. Selected index, okay, selected index should start at 0. And also, so an array of objects, so we should have something looking like this. Image texture should be an array of this, concretely should be this, with my image texture 1 and then image texture 2, etc. Okay, so now the problem is we need to get this texture first. Okay, so let's use texture module to get these textures. Okay, let's put this here, right here. Okay, cool. So this, I need to put this inside promise because we need to wait for the texture and to resolve the promise here and here, and we're gonna put this in here, and then also catch, yeah, catch if there is an error, so error here, and we are going to display the error in case we make mistakes. Error, okay. So texture, we're gonna use the method to find texture, so it's fine using patterns, and pattern there is double T, and I have to check if there is an S because I always forget. No, there is no S. Okay, and so what are the name of our texture? Our texture are called picker1 and picker10, picker1-1, picker1-0. Okay, so just copy this. Find using pattern. How can I use it? So I write down the first part of my pattern, which is the same for my two textures, which one is called picker1-1, picker1-2, or 1 and 0, okay? And then star here mean everything. So it's picker1 dash and then everything, okay? So then I will get an array containing a list containing my two textures. So let's find out if I did right. So let's put results of 0 because result is the array containing the resolves that have been resolved, the promises that have been resolved. Okay, so let's print. Cool, picker, and then here we can see a little bit at the bottom of the screen the two objects inside my array. So the two objects are my two textures. Okay, so we need to transform these textures because the texture actually looks like this, texture 1 and texture 2, but in fact it should look like something like this, image texture 1, and then image texture 2. Okay, so we need to transform this array. Okay, so to do so, let's use a simple map function that is inside JavaScript array map here, and then here is the texture. We access to the texture and we return an object. Okay, an object containing image texture with our texture here. So this is now texture will look like this. Now texture here will look like this. Okay, like this more. Yeah. Okay, cool. So now we have everything to show our selected index 0, and then items. I pass my textures with an S is better because there is multiple textures. Okay, I don't have to print this all the time. I don't have to print this either all the time. And then now the last properties after configuring, we need to set it to visible. Okay, visible can be set but not get. Visible true. Okay, so let's see. Is it working? Yeah, cool. So we got our here we got our picker. So what's the next step here? Next step here. So we got a texture for our picker, we integrated our picker, and now we want to store the last value, because like the thing which is interesting is like if I choose to set this to click on this this picker, this button, the second button, I want when I come back to my filter to have this preset, to have this button already checked. Okay, so how do I do this? Simply like this. So we know that there is an index picker, there is an index inside picker. Okay, and we can get this index. Okay, so we want to store the value when the index is changing, to save the index value. Okay, so that when we leave the filter, we can still have the last value, the last button that is checked. Okay, anyway, so we need to monitor this value to be informed every time the value is changing. Okay, so that selected index value, we monitor the value. Okay, and then we subscribe, yeah, to this. Okay, and then value. Okay, we can call it index. Yeah, we can call it index, and then let's see what we got when we use this. So when I change the value here, the value are changing. I get my new value all the time. 1 0 1 0 1 0, because the red is 0 and the blue is 1. Okay, 0 1. Okay, cool. So now I want to store this value. Okay, so let's use my persistence module. But before I use my persistence module, I want to create a function to put all this initialization inside one function, so it will be a little bit more clear. Okay, clearer. But this is my initialization. Okay, so let's do this. My picker init. Okay, and so my picker init takes, I don't know, let's see, and then so copy this. Yeah, it will take results. Okay, and then it will return a textures. So I can do that way, and then yeah, that's all. Okay, because I will need textures afterward, I think. Okay, so here, copy, paste, straightforward, will work. It will work, and then let textures is equal to my picker init, and I pass results. Okay, so if I save, just have a look if it's still working. I didn't break anything. No. Okay, great. So now let's go. Let's use persistence module now, because we want to store. So I have my persistence module here, and I need to import my persistence module. Okay, so import my persistence module, which I'm gonna copy paste here. Okay, the name of the class I want to import. My class is my persistence module. Cool, and then here, so import from / my persistence module. Okay, so also something I have done already is my persistence module is storing a key called data. So if I want my project to work here, the key is data here. You see I do get on the data, I remove the data, and then also I set the data here. Data is a key, and when you use persistence module, when you store a key, you need to whitelist the key, okay? So I'll show you again. To whitelist the key, you go edit properties, capabilities, persistence, and you whitelist data, okay? Else you will not work, and you will get an error saying that data is not whitelist, okay? And also, since I want to get data before everything to see if there is a previous save, I will initialize my persistence module class before going into my promise here. So I can pass my get data here, because get data will return a promise, so I can resolve this promise before starting my initialization and everything, okay? So my persistence is equal to my persistence module new, there is no information to pass, and here is my persistence. Yeah, get data. Okay, cool. So let's see if there is something stored inside my data. Okay, vlog results of 1. Why result of 1? Because result is an array of resolved promise, and this is my first promise to resolve, and this is my second. So 0 is this one, and 1 is this one. Okay, so let's print. Oh, okay, it's null and defined. Okay, which is normal because we didn't store anything yet. Okay, so let's manage this. So if this is undefined, we need to store the first value. We need to initialize the data to be stored. Okay, so like we did for picker, let's create a method to init my persistence. Okay, my persistence init. I think I will pass results also, and here. Okay. So what I should do? So if result of 1 is undefined or does not exist, okay, I should set it. Okay, so let's set it. I'm gonna use my persistence module. Yeah, my persistence. Set data. And what should I store? I will store the picker index. Okay, so like picker index, and at the beginning the picker index is 0. Okay, so I'm storing this, and then what should I store? I don't think I need anything else. For now, I need only this, but later we will have to add more things, but for now that's enough. Okay, cool. And then here I call it at the initialization, but then every time it changes, I need to save it also. Okay, so here we use it's not set data. Yeah, it's set data. My persistence set data here, and we store the current index.new value, the value that has just changed. Okay, if we come from 0 to 1, the old value is 0 and the new value is 1, so we need to store 1. Okay, for example, I don't think you might see it on the video because it's so small, but when I check, when the red is checked, is selected, there is a black circle around it, and when I select the blue one, there is a black circle around the blue one. So if I reset now, with the black circle checked, it should check it, but it does not check it. So there is something wrong somewhere. Let's find out. Let's find out what it is. Okay, picker index. So yeah, it's cool. I'm saving picker index, but I'm never using it actually. I'm just saving it. So now we need to use it. So if this is null, we do this. Okay, and then what? And then I need to return 0, like saying that, oh, I have initialized the value to 0, so you need to use the values that I've initialized. Else, if it exists, let's return results. Okay. So my persistence in it here, I'm using it here, and let data, for example, that has been returned, my persistence in it results. Okay, the data, if I log data, what is inside data? Let's have a look. Okay, cool. So data is containing many things, and is containing my picker index 1. Okay, so I'm just gonna clear it a little bit, because there is something that I don't want inside my persistence, inside data. So to remove data, I have added a method inside my persistence which allow you to remove. Sorry, so let's call it, and then we remove data. So what is inside data? It's 0, because we stored 0. Okay. No, it should not be 0 actually. It should be, yeah, data is 0 because I returned 0. So actually, I don't want to return 0. I want to return an object that looks like this object. So I want to return this, because I will use it data that way with picker index, like an object. Okay, here is a mistake. Returning results. Results is a whole array. Is all my promise that I've been waiting are a return. So data is erased by my mistakes, and so we are losing picker index. So I have removed, I have cleaned it, and then relaunched. So data is containing only one object, and then if I store the value 1, it keeps the value 1. So now I click back to the red, it starts back to the red, and then I click blue. The blue is circled in black, and when I come back to my filter, blue is circled in black also. So we managed to save the index using this. Okay, so this I need to keep it here, my persistence. So now we are storing one value, okay, which is great. Now if we come back to a filter, we're gonna have the blue value, the value of the last button we checked that is checked. Okay, but now what I want to do, the next step here, I want to store the last value that is done, and I want to add a new list of texture. Okay, I want to add a second picker. That's the point. But how do we add a second picker? So there is only one picker. Native UI contain one picker. This picker is the UI of Instagram. There is only one, but we can fake that there is two. So how do we do this? Simply by changing texture. We can change texture during the filter. So for example, there is my two texture here. If I want to make it look like when I do something, I change to another picker, I just need to change the texture. And then visually it will look like I have changed picker, but in fact I'm not changing. It's just the same picker, but with different texture. So let's add new texture. Let me grab the texture here, more colorful. Also, like we have to do is no compression here. Okay, this is checked. So if we don't check it, it won't work. So I need to import this new texture. So I call them like this. 2. Okay, same. Find using pattern, picker 2 dash, and then 0 1. Everything that is after is going to take into account. So it will get the two texture, because one is 0 and the other one is 1. Okay. So I got my two texture. The picker will be the same, only the texture change. But if we want also the behavior of the effect to change, we need to make these two fake picker different from each other. Okay, so to do so, I will imagine that there is one picker that is a picker 0 and one other picker that is a picker 1. Okay, for example, we can create an object like this called picker options. So in this picker we have an array. We have an array of two objects. And so the object, we have an array of two array containing objects. For example, it's better this way. So let me explain. So we only have one picker, okay? But we need to fake there is another picker. There is two picker. So the way we can fake it is by having like a counter saying like, now I am on the, with this texture I am on the first picker, on the first picker, and then with this other texture I increase my counter to 1, and then I am on the other picker, and then to 3 I can make an infinity of picker. Okay, imagine I want to have like two fake picker. So the first picker will be like one picker that when I am on the picker it said super, and then another picker it say cool, and then do something like here hello, and also value world. Okay, so what this is gonna do, I want to have two pickers. So I want my first picker that when I'm click on one it prints super, and when I click on the second picker it click cool, and then when I'm on my second menu picker, when I click on the first button it will say hello, and when I click on the second it will say world. But in fact, as I said, we have only one picker. So we need to have like a picker option, we call it like this, counter that is start to 0. Okay, and so when we are on the first counter, the counter option will be 0. So we are going to use this first line, and then when I am on the second picker, the counter will be 1, and then I will be using the second line. So as well as I will change texture, I will also change behavior inside my picker options. So it will look like I have two picker. Okay. So when is the time I am changing from one picker to another, we will use tap. Okay. When I tap, I change my picker. So I need to get the tap. To get the tap, I'm using the patch editor. I'm taking screen tap here. Okay. Zooming a little bit. I'm using my script. Let me grab this a little bit. Okay. Script. I'm sending a pulse value of the screen tap to my script. Okay. Here, joining the two. Now I have to go back to my script. If I want to get the value from the patch, I need to use the patch module. So let's use the patch module. Okay. So now how to get the screen tap? We use patches here, and then it's an output from the patch that is going inside the script. So it's output, we get pulse, and then I called it screen tap. Okay, let's have a look. Put it this here. Let's have a look if it works. So it's result of 0, 1, 2, 3. 0 result of 3. We can subscribe to a pulse value. We don't need to know. This doesn't return anything actually. Here we can print to see if it's working. Tap. Okay, save, and then see console here. Okay, so I get the tap. Great. So now when I get the tap, I want to pass the value from 0 to 1 and then 1 to 0. So it will change my option picker, my fake option picker. Okay, so picker counter it is equal to picker equal picker counter. Okay, let's make it simpler. Picker counter, if picker counter is equal to 0, then picker counter is equal to 1, else picker counter, we do this, else picker counter is equal to 0. Okay, so we could do something like this. And then, for example, if we print here something to try how this will work, options, picker option counter, here from 0, for example, dot value, and you will see it will print different things. Hello, super, hello, super, hello, super. So I'm changing from these options to the other option. Okay. And now, as I'm changing from one option to another option, I want also to change the texture. So to configure a new my picker a second time, and then configure it with my new textures. Okay. So if I want more textures, I need to add more textures into my textures here. Okay. So how I'm gonna do this? I go to my picker init method here. So texture is this, okay? But in fact, for me, texture should be an array to be a little bit like this, an array with two array in it, okay? So it will be an array of texture. So I will push into texture my first textures for my first picker, and I will do the same here for my other texture, which are 0, 1, 2, which are the result of 2. Okay, cool. So now I have my two textures slots stored. Okay, so now how do I change? I need to configure again my picker. I need to configure whenever I tap a new time my picker. So we'll change the properties. Okay, so there is an error. So there is incorrect, so I have done something wrong. Yes, for sure. Here it's texture of 0, okay? Because I'm giving him a texture, an array of textures, okay? So texture of 0 is getting here these values, okay? So let's go back. So now I need to configure again. So let's copy paste it. And I'm returning texture, so I got textures here also, I can use them here. So remove this, and then let's see if it works. If we configure a second time. So textures will be also using picker option counter. So as picker option counter allows us to change the picker's values that we want to print, it also changes the textures of the picker, okay? So if I'm typing, I'm switching from one color to another. So it looks like I have, here it's colors, so it doesn't, maybe it does not look like really interesting, but you can add icons, you can add everything in it, so it looks like you're changing the picker, okay? Cool, so I'm changing values and I'm changing picker. Now, what I want to do is when I change, when I pass from one index to another, I want to print that value to see if project is working, if I'm really changing from one value to another. Okay, so we can do this. Print picker options because we want to print the options with the picker counter, which lets us know if we are using this counter, the 0 or the counter 1, and then we print value. Okay. No, sorry. And then we use the index of the current picker which we are in. So it's the first value of the second value. So index.new value. And we want to print the value. Okay. So let's see. Super cool. Super cool. Okay, if I change, hello world, hello world. Okay, so it works. So we have two different counter, two different picker, and we can make them do different things. Okay, so we could, what we could do also is maybe store the picker we are on when we leave the effect. Okay, so what we are storing actually when we use set data here, we use it 2 times. Yeah, we only set the picker index. Okay, but we should also set maybe the picker number. Okay, which is 0. And we can do something a little bit cooler, TMP data, something, and then to make it a little bit cleaner, here, TMP data, and then also TMP data. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Okay, it's a little bit cleaner. So we are saving also the picker number, and if we are saving the picker number, we should pass it here also the picker number to our texture. Picker number, okay, here. So it will choose between the texture 0 or texture 1, depending on which one we left the effect before. And then also here, we have to store the picker number, which is our picker option counter. If I am not mistaken. Yeah, the line is a little bit long. Yeah. Okay. I can. Yeah. Let's do this. It's a bit more readable up here. Yeah. Okay. No need to do this. Yeah. So. Okay, we store this, and here we don't need to store anything. Okay. And also something that we could do is when we get data should picker option counter should be equal to what we get from data. So actually we could even pass this at the beginning. Yeah, we could do this here and here. Picker option, yeah, should be this. Alors, so it should be equal to data dot picker picker number. Yeah. So we get the value from data that is returned by the persistence module. Okay, so there is an error. We need. Oh yeah, okay. We need to remove because we didn't store it yet. So we need, now we can. Okay. So if I change my and I come back, it did not change. Let's see why. Here there is an error. Okay. So something is wrong somewhere. Let's find out what is wrong. Picker options here. Picker option counter. Picker option does not exist actually. Yeah. Picker option counter. Okay. And so we need to clean what we have stored. Yeah, here, and then So again, restart. Okay, so if I change my counter and then I reset, it should have stored. Actually, it's storing the data, but it's not storing the when we change, because we need to also set it here when we change. And I didn't do it, so we need also to set here the index is data picker index. Oh no, we need also to store the current index. Okay. And current index is equal to index.new value. So here is current index. Okay. And then we are saving the data. If I come back, selecting, okay. So if I come back to my filter with the second index selected, and here, for example, I have checked the pink counter, and when I reset, I'm still on the pink. And when I'm changing when I'm changing my my counter, my picker, I'm also on the index 1, which is not really what I want. So what I'm gonna do when I change my counter, I will just resetting the current index. Okay. Here. So when I change, I'll come back. Okay. Which is when I change my picker, I'll come back to the picker 0, which is a better thing. Okay, so the code is here, a little bit maybe messy. So what we could do, for example, we can change also these lines to use this. No, this here. Okay, equal to here. If it's equal to 0, then 1, and then 0. Okay, which remove few lines. Also, we can use we repeat this a little bit, so we can use maybe a function set my data to not have to copy here, taking an index and a counter, yeah, an option counter, let it like this. Okay, set my data. So yeah, I don't remember what was the so it's current index and picker option counter. Okay, and so I can change also here set data. Can remove this. Okay. Okay, yeah, so a little bit cleaner, I guess. Let's save. Let's see if it's still working. Yeah, I'm resetting my filter here. I reset, keep the value. I reset to 1, it keeps 1, and then when I change, it should not keep 1. Also, we change the picker selected index equal 0. Okay. So when I change it, go back to 0. If I save it and I come back, it is still, but when I change, it's always go back to the first. So before we finish, we need to change something, because actually this is not working on mobile or on Instagram. because of this line here, and so we need to catch if there is nothing inside data first when we get it. So we can't let get data here, so we're gonna use it in here. So we're gonna resolve and then catch if there is an error here, and then catch. Okay, so what we're gonna do is actually use all our code here and use it within these two, using within here the then or the catch. Okay, so we always print if there is an error here. Let me do this here. Okay, so let's create a function that is going to take all of this inside. So we call it like picker manager here, and it will take data and then our saved data actually, and then it will take, or not saved, results. Okay, here the arrow, and then here, and then I copy all of this in here. Yeah, so our picker manager, it will take not results actually, but we'll take saved data here. Sorry, yeah, we'll take saved data, so saved data here, and then data can stay here as it is. So here it's not result actually, it's saved data, all data, and then so here and here, saved data. Okay, the behavior doesn't change in here, return the same thing, and actually what is changing also is the way we call picker manager. So there's two difference. So if there is an error, picker manager is called, but saved data does not exist yet, so it's null, and result exists. And here, if we can get data and then there is no error, even if data is empty or anything, but still data will exist, we do this. Okay, and if we do this and we try on a phone, it should work. So let's go back. I'm lagging a bit. So undefined is not a function. Picker manager data results. Picker manager data results here. Okay. So yeah, we need to change something also because I removed get data here. So so I forget where it was, but what I know is like 2 becomes result of 2, 3 becomes result of 2, and then result of 2 become result of 1. So yeah, we need to change this here. Okay. Yeah, let's send a notification on my phone and see if it works on the phone. So yeah, it's here on the phone, and if I'm changing, I can save it and then come back to another, yeah, here, and to save the picker, and then here it has saved the picker. So that's it for today. If you have any question, please let me know. You can download the source file using the link in the description below. And that's it. Bye bye guys, see you later.